So I'm Michelle, and I am here today from Portland, Maine, where I work at a little ad agency called Industrium. But my, community experience really started a number of years ago. I was working at a conference company, and my team, which was the social media team, was tasked with this question: how are we going to improve retention, bringing people back to the conference year over year? And we had an insight, which was that the thing that people really loved about conferences, and I'm sure this is true for many people here today, was actually the connections that you would make while you were there. Obviously, the learnings from the people on stage were good, but the people you would meet throughout the course of the day was what everyone was looking for. So we started developing a community strategy. And, ever since that time, I've kind of brought that community lens to a lot of the other things that I've gotten a chance to work on. And being in an agency, it's great because you get to just kind of be in all different types of fields. So today, I'm going to talk to you about, I think, probably a pretty different field from what anybody in this room is touching. Does anybody here work in the transportation and logistics space? And yep, no hands. So I would have guessed that. So I had the privilege to work in a partnership with a company who was a Longhaul Trucking company. And so we're just going to start off by giving you a little bit of background information about Longhaul Trucking, because I think this is, there's a lot of things that actually apply to all different sorts of communities. So the trucking industry right now is facing a huge driver shortage. So all the things that you're going to buy on Amazon for the Christmas season coming up need to go in a truck, go to a place, come to another place, then eventually they come to your door. And there was the first self-driven beer delivery that just happened the other day, so pretty historic, but we don't have self-driving trucks just yet, so we need actual human beings to go in that truck. And, it's long hours, hard work. You're driving 11 hours a day, generally. You're away from home for 2 to 3 weeks, so this is a lifestyle choice, the people that do this. And they're kind of the original distributed workforce. They're out, they're their own boss. They're deciding, where they're going to stop, what gas station they're going to go to, all these different things. But there are some people that are owner-operators, and they are, they're actually owning their truck, but mostly they're working for larger companies. And so, they have little communication with the home office. They're kind of getting a message in. We have this load. It needs to get to this place. Every couple weeks, they might be coming by. This company I was working with was located in Joplin, Missouri, so every now and then you'd be coming through Joplin, and you might see the people at the home office, but generally you're really only going to talk to somebody on the phone or get those messages. And all of the companies in this space pretty much have a similar pay structure. They weren't having a perks war. There's no Michelin chefs here, but they definitely were having a little bit of like that pay scale war. Like, okay, well, we did a raise, so now we're going to do a raise. But they were all offering kind of the same level of benefits across the board. And so there was an industry turnover where people were just 100% moving from one company to another because they didn't really have any loyalty to the companies that they were working for. And in fact, the company started offering hiring bonuses, so you were incentivized to move and go to another company so you could get that hiring bonus. And then, maybe 6 months down the line, okay, I'm bored with these guys, I'm going to go get another hiring bonus somewhere else. So we were partnering with this company. We had a great relationship with them. We worked for them for a while, and they came to us with this problem of we really need to work on our recruiting program. We are spending $20,000 every time we need to recruit a driver. So that's, if anybody here is like a corporate headhunter sort of company, that's what you usually would be spending to bring someone in to work at a C-suite level, VP level job. But between the money they were spending on paid media to advertise the positions, the money that they might be spending in a hiring bonus, And the revenue that was lost when a load didn't have somebody to bring it from one place to another, they actually had done the numbers and figured out we're losing $20,000 if one of these trucks is sitting here empty. So we went out and we interviewed a bunch of drivers that were within the company, and we kind of came up with these insights. So the things that drove people that did stay with the company, and we talked to a number of people that had been there for 10, 15, sometimes 20 years as drivers, were the relationships that they did have with people in the home office, and often very specific actions that were driving their loyalty. So we heard a story of one driver who wanted to get home for Christmas to see his family, and the company agreed to deadhead him, which is where you just have the front of the truck, no load on the back, home 300 miles so that he could get home for Christmas. And there was a lot of little stories like that that had this relationship. So these real stories existed that were resonating with drivers, and those people that had those stories were going out and telling other people, you got to work for this company because, you know, all these other companies, they might be sounding like they're the same, but they're not going to necessarily stand up for you in that real personal way. And so what we realized is the company is not the thing that's important, but the individuals within the company are. And I think probably a lot of you that are working in the community space can see how that's really a powerful thing once you realize that. So we came up with this concept of the force of thousands, and that informed everything we started doing from that point on, including our ad campaigns, which kind of look like this. All of these people are real employees of the company, and we realized, you know, it was when all these thousands of people came together that things really got done. And so how does that translate to community? We developed basically a series of different activities and ways that we were communicating this goal of the force of thousands. So down at the bottom, you know, we had public general awareness campaigns. So this was where our, you know, paid media, PR stuff, just anything that might be touching people out in the world. This was not really community. These people belonged to the community of truck drivers overall, perhaps, but they were not part of our community. And, you know, then there was sort of this community of employees that are loosely associated with each other. Maybe they already were interacting on social media. They're, you know, on our email list. But again, they're not really that formal community. So we started a podcast because we were told that what people really wanted to feel was that they were able to have a direct access line to different, you know, people that you would want to get a hold of. So the CEO, HR, and be able to ask questions. And so it was a monthly call-in line where they were live responding to questions and giving people that access that they wanted. And the next level up from there, we had a passionate driver group, which was basically people who were raising their hand and saying, ooh, me, I have a lot of opinions and I want to share them. We invited them to come into a private Facebook group. And, you know, the real super users from that group, we then had as advocates that we would then use them for kind of those PR stories and content that we made around their stories to share back out to the public. And so what we discovered after we tracked this for 6 months was that if we got someone into that podcast question asking phase, we actually had a 90% retention rate from there on up. So this is Stephanie. She was one of our super users, and she's driven more than 3 million safe miles for the company. She's really great. We did a video series around her and a couple of other women drivers because we had this insight that women are generally safe drivers. This is a great job for them. It pays exactly the same whether you're a woman or a man. So this actually was a really amazing sort of thing to be able to feature these people. And you know, this is always the thing that I'm kind of looking for when I'm working on something, is being able to get that 100% cool moment out of someone. You know, that's sort of the goal. It's the analytics that tell you you're doing well are good, but if you can get the 100% cool. And so, you know, we then used Stephanie for a live recruiting chat, and people were able to come in and they were able to actually get new people into the system in this way because, you know, people didn't really want to talk to us. They wanted to talk to other real drivers. So this was our most attended recruiting chat that we had ever had. Actually, this was an ongoing activity, but once we brought in that real driver, that was it. So thank you so much.